and let go. Have any worries today, make a little bit more room for joy to come in. Widening across our chest, pressing down into both of our feet. Breathe. Softening the shoulders. We'll start some lateral flexion, reaching our left or right arm up. Inhale, exhale, bring the hand back towards the earth. Side to side, flowing. You can close your eyes or keep them open, whatever works for you in this moment. Let's take this opportunity to connect with your breathing. You've got about 5 or 6 more per side. Make sure no one's stuck in a waiting room or anything. There's 10 people on this morning. That's pretty cool. Keep on flowing. Hey, Brenda, sorry, I know Zoom was a bit of a pain in the butt for us today, but I'm super happy that you're here. We got 1 more on either side, and then we'll start to flow with both arms flowing through our mountain pose, either standing or seated. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, bringing our hands back towards the earth. So continue to flow through. Just got a few things to do on my end. Rooting down to rise up. So rooting through our feet and starting to warm up the sides of our body. We've got our core strong, our pelvis stable. Check in with your pelvis, making sure our tailbone's not really overly tucked under or pushing back with an arch in our back to start with. Last one. And we will bring both of our arms up, grab a hold of our left hand and tip over to one side or the opposite side. And remember, you could be standing for this, or you could be with me on your chair today. We'll release, sweep up to the other side. So we're grabbing that hand, pressing into the same side foot, and then tipping over, creating some space in our wrist. Let go of your morning. Let go of things you can't control. That dang Zoom. Hands come back up. Let's bring those hands to our shoulders and start some shoulder stretches. Opening across the chest and then tucking our elbows towards each other. And if you want to, we'll tuck our chin and then bring it back to neutral. Exhale, inhale. So in case you missed it, we're hoping to be back in person next week. Of course, I'll still have the Zoom option. I'll be running most classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, even the lunch classes now. We'll be moving Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I'll add the occasional chair practice on a Friday as well at 10:45. Last one, we'll keep the chin tucked, elbows touching. Then untouch the elbows, lift our chin, lift our elbows, and slide it back and down. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, slide it back and down. All the rest of our body right now, stable, strong, steady. Check in with your shoulders. Last one. Let's bring our right ear towards our right shoulder. If you'd like to add a little bit of weight with your hand, you can, and that opposite hand could push away. Keeping long in our spine, let's release the hand, lift the head, and tip the shoulder or the ear towards the other shoulder. And if you want to place a little bit of weight, you can, or you can rely on gravity. Good old gravity. If anyone zoomed in on Monday, it was a hoot. I think you were there, Pauline. I was slipping all over my son's hockey shooting pad thing. Let's release that hand and now turn our chin towards our shoulder. So now we're rotating our neck to one side, pressing and anchoring into our feet. Is that a Lululemon shirt you're wearing, honey? Yes. Bring it all the way over to the other side. Oh, that feels good. Bring it around. We'll tuck the chin towards the chest. Just see how that feels. Notice how those muscles that go down the sides of your spine. Just check in. See if you can connect with your minds. And we'll lift that head back up. Wonderful. Let's start to flow through a flowing chair pose. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, sitting back like you're sitting into a chair. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale into your chair position. Flow through, close your eyes if that feels okay for you. If you are doing your practice today on your chair, one thing you could do is just try to rise just a little bit up on an inhale. Exhale, sit back down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sit back down. Or you're flowing. Depending on how your knees are feeling at the moment, we can have a big, deep bend in our knees as we sit back, or a small bend. Wherever we are, let's keep our chest open. Anyone that wants a little more challenge or another layer for their core, those arms will reach long as we flow through, so that increases, well, the strength in your core. One more flowing chair, and we'll turn this into a flowing airplane, hinging forward, back up to extended mountain, reaching up, exhaling up and down. So if you're on your chair, you're on the edge, we're up, and then hinging forward. This lengthens and starts to wake up the lower back. Matching our movements to our breath and letting go of competition. You can stay with your flowing airplane or go back to flowing chair or move to a flowing forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, diving forward, either standing or on your chair. You'll need to create some space between your feet if you're staying on your chair. Each time we're reaching up, let's press actively into our feet. And we're beginning to feel the stretch right down the back of the legs, our calves, behind our knees, into our hamstrings, our glutes, moving up into our back, and right to our neck if we let our head hang out. You can stay in your forward fold or come back to a seated chair position. Halfway lift, our hands come towards our shins. So here's some modifications here. Fingertips on the mat, fingertips to shins, or hands holding onto the knees for a little more support. And then we'll fold again. Halfway lift, think of the back lifting you, the belly button coming towards the spine, and then folding again as we stretch the backs of our legs. Great job. Fold. Last one. And then we'll rise back up to our standing mountain or your seated mountain. Inhale, rise up. Bring our hands back behind us. Open up across the chest. And if it feels okay for you today, you'll hinge forward, stretching your chest. Be holding onto your chair or keeping your head up today. 10 big, beautiful breaths. Focusing on wholesome wholeness rather than perfection. Let go of that. Moving on to cat and cow. So some modifications today. If you'd like to come down onto all fours, you're used to doing cat and cow down on all fours. Head on down, my friends, go down to all fours. Or you're on your chair with me, or you're standing with a bent knee. Exhaling into our cat pose as we round out our spine. And inhale, open up into cow. Exhaling into cat. Inhaling into cow. 10 rounds of cat and cow. If you're on your chair with me, you're coming up, elbows wrap around the back, and then we're holding our knees, tucking our chin. You can make some adjustments for your wrists by putting your fists for wrists, or hands on blocks, or forearms on blocks. Anything I do seated today, you can do standing. If you want to stand on one leg, you can stand on one leg. Just be safe. Last one. We'll move into our spinal balance now. So if you're still on all fours, your right arm will go forward and your left foot will go back. If you're here with me, you're reaching the opposite handed foot, then back to all fours or seated and switching. So flowing through your spinal balance, 10 rounds on each side. If you're seated with me, nice and long through the spine. If you're coming down to all fours, reaching with your heel for the back of the wall, keeping your gaze down at the mat. They're cooking up something downstairs. Last week, I went and investigated the delicious smells, and it was just onions cooking. They were cooking onions. That was amazing. One more on each side for your flowing spinal balance. And then if you're on all fours, you can stay there, or you can move into downward facing dog. So today's all about options. If you want to try downward dog, move in there now. If you want to do it on your chair, feet go out. I'll show all three. Feet go out, toes go up, a little bend in our knees, and we push away. So this is a seated downward facing dog. Maybe you're in downward dog on the mat at the moment, with the creases of your elbows pointing towards the front of the mat. So there's a little rotation in the shoulders and there's a soft bend in our knees. Stay there, or you're in on the wall, chest expanding, a softness in our knees here. One more, I'm sure there's plenty more actually. On our chair, holding onto the seat. So you've got about 3 more breaths in your downward dog. And then we'll be moving into plank poses. All right, moving into a plank, either full or kneeling plank, or you're in a plank on your chair with me, right here, nice and strong, core is strong, or we're down on the mat. Full plank, kneeling plank, or forearm plank for 10 breaths. We started with some flowing, now we're moving into a little more alignment, and then we'll put it all together for some sun salutations. From your plank, wherever you are, if you're on all fours, you'll move to your belly now to move into Cobra Pose. So in your Cobra Pose, on your chair, it's cat. It's like a cat pose. We open the chest. Cobra Pose at the wall, chest down towards the wall, or you're down on the mat in your Cobra Pose. It's about 5 more breaths. We're working towards about 10. Try not to force yourself into it by pushing too high. Think of holding yourself up with the strength of your back. We'll make our way back to either all fours or downward facing dog on your chair, on the floor, or at the wall. We'll be moving into a lunge position. I'll show it on the chair once we move through it on the floor. Right or left foot, whichever one comes up towards the hands, can help it up. Full or kneeling lunge, and we come into a lunge. You're holding on this side for 5 breaths. Options on a chair, foot on the front. Here's our lunge. Or foot back. Here's our lunge. Let's switch sides for your lunge now. Sweeping the other foot back. Maybe you're on your chair, or you're in your high lunge standing. Love having a full class, even on Zoom, so cool. Great job, ladies. Gentlemen, friends, folks. Let's go to forward fold, either on your chair or standing. Halfway lift, we'll breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Exhale to your mountain. All right, time for sun salutations, and there's a lot of different versions to do. I'll show you one on the chair. If you're regular, and I know a lot of you are, you know sun salutations. I know you know them. You can start flowing through them, or if you want to learn them on the chair with me, you'll stay on your chair. We'll do the one of them fully seated to start with. Or you could be trying to do this standing. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. If you're standing, you'll step one foot back to lunge. If you're on your chair, you'll lift one knee to chest. Stretch. If you're in your lunge, you can hold in a nice high lunge or move back to downward dog, or do that downward dog on your chair. So downward dog. Wonderful job. Moving into plank pose. So those hands come under the shoulders. You're on your chair, here we are. From your plank pose, you can hold or go down to your belly until you can come into a Cobra Pose, either on your chair. Then you'll push back to downward facing dog or all fours. Breathe. You'll bring the opposite foot up for a lunge, or if you're on your chair with me, we're drawing that knee in towards our chest. Great job. And forward fold, exhale. Breathe out. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Sweep all the way up. We'll come into a nice strong chair pose. And then sweep up again. Inhale. Exhale to mountain. Fantastic job. Let's do it again. Choose what feels right for you. Inhale, sweep up, pressing into both of our feet. Exhale, dive into your fold, lengthen your spine. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold again, breathe out. Great job. Step one foot back to lunge or draw that knee to chest. Take your time getting up there. Beautifully done. And then to downward facing dog or all fours or child's pose if you're down on the ground. You can hold your downward dog here or even stay in your lunge pose, or you're with me on your chair. Or move into a plank on an inhale. Exhale, go right down to your bellies. Inhale, open up into Cobra. Exhale, back to your bellies. Up into plank, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Great job. You'll bring the opposite foot up between the hands, or you'll stay on your chair, draw that knee to chest. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, forward folds. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Inhale, sweep to sky. Exhale, find a nice strong chair again. Inhale, back up. Exhale, find a mountain. Standing or seated. Wonderful job. Okay, we've got a few more. I'm going to show another option facing your chair this time. And then I'll show them all options. Okay. Inhale, sweep up towards the sky. Exhale, forward fold or stop halfway on your chair. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold again. Stepping one foot back into your lunge. You can hold your chair or stay high. You can stay here in your lunge or move to downward facing dog, on or off your chair. Wherever you are, there's a bend in our knee and stretch across the chest. You can hold down dog or lunge, or move into a plank. Inhale, make sure your chair is steady. Exhale down to your belly or hold your plank. Open up into Cobra. Back to your belly. And then your plank pose. Inhale, exhale, downward facing dog. Now bring a foot up between the hands. Find your lunge. Inhale. Exhale, step to forward fold or just hold onto your chair. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Exhale to chair pose, breathe out. Back up, breathe in. Exhale to mountain. Let's do it again at this version or in whichever version you're choosing for your body today. Inhale, sweep to sky. Exhale, dive into fold or hold your chair. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Stepping one foot back, let's take your right foot back. Oh, switch feet this time. Inhale to your lunge. Exhale, downward dog, or stay with your lunge. Inhale to plank or hold whichever position feels best for you. Exhale, down to the belly. Up dog or cobra. Back to your belly, then push to plank, and then back to down dog. Take that left foot up between the hands. Find your lunge, breathe in. Great work. Breathe out, forward fold. Building some heat this morning. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Exhale into chair. Back up, breathe in. Exhale, holding in your mountain pose. So fun. All right, so we did quite a few versions of sun salutations. There's even more, but that will be good for today. So we're going to do a stretch, a version of pyramid pose for everybody today. So if you've got your chair, it's on the top of your mat or some blocks on either side. We'll have our right toes forward, your right toe forward, and your left foot's going back, and the heels are down on the mat. Our hips are square towards the short edge of our mat, and we're hinging forward for our pyramid pose. We can hold our chair or keep our hands at our hips, and that'll help you from not opening up that one hip. You can keep them pointing down towards the earth or forward, and then choose what feels good for your pyramid pose today. Hands down on blocks, on the chair. Anyone wanting more layers, you can add on a chest expansion here. Hands come back behind you. That doesn't feel good. Do not do it. There's always a little bend in our knees as our hips reach back, and our head is reaching forward. So again, for anybody that wanted another modification, I'll show it now. You stay in your pyramid. You have one foot up on your chair to stretch for pyramid pose. That is one more option for you today. Just keep a little bend in that front knee so that you don't hyperextend it. Let's step to forward fold, exhale. Inhale to chair pose. Choose if you're on your chair or off your chair. And exhale up into mountain. Let's flow through half a sun salutation. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale to chair. Back up, breathing in. Exhale to your mountain. Let's do that pyramid pose on the other side. So the opposite foot will come forward, most likely your left foot, and your right foot going back, heels down. Hinging at our hips, taking care of our knees. If something doesn't feel good, we want to pull back a little. You can add any of those options that I showed you before, or you could bring your foot up onto your chair today and hinge forward. All of them will stretch your hamstring. So you reach your hips back. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy being here, present in your body, trying to get both of our heels down on the mat. And then we'll step to forward fold, exhale. Well, I think they're cooking onions again. It smells amazing. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Inhale to chair, bending our knees, lifting our hearts. Exhaling to mountain, widening across the chest. Let's flow through one half sun salutation. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. It's called a sun breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Our salute to the sun. Our thankfulness to the sun for coming out, warming up the earth all the way back up, keeping us alive. Exhale into mountain pose. All right, time for goddess pose, on or off your chair. So you'll step one foot back, turn the toes so they're slightly out towards if you had a long edged mat. There's enough space so that when you sit back into your goddess, your knees don't come like this. So they're not going towards the mat. They're going towards the middle of your feet. Or the chair into our goddess pose. Arms open up. We find some space across the chest. We're pressing into both of our feet. You could be right on the edge of your chair if you want to challenge your core. Breathe, my friends. Close your eyes. You're here for 5 breaths. We'll sip them on tea. Check in and see how you're all doing. Bunch of goddesses right there. Great work. You can straighten out your legs. I'm going to take a little break and we'll be coming back in and adding on. All right, so back down into your goddess pose, either on or off your chair. You'll bring your right elbow to your right knee and reach your opposite arm up. You can gaze up at that top hand if it feels okay for your neck, or keep your chin in line with your chest. You can even look down at your knee. Breathe, the side body opening. Beautifully done. Come back to goddess, or we'll let's straighten out our legs and turn our toes towards the long edge again. I'm going to show you elephant pose. So right arm reaches up and our left arm is back behind us. We can gaze up at our trunk up top. Breathe. If it feels nice for you, you can hinge into elephant pose. One hand back, looks more like our tail back there and our arm reaching forward. We'll bend our knees, lift our heart. Let's make sure to turn those toes back out towards the edges of our mat as we settle back into our goddess pose, bringing our left elbow onto our left knee, sweeping that other arm up. So we can look up here, or you can look forward, or you can close your eyes, whatever works. Feeling both of our feet pressing down. Legs shaking a little bit. And we'll lift up that heart again, straighten out our legs, turn our toes back towards the long edge of the mat, reach the left arm up. Maybe our bicep comes up towards our ear somewhere. Our other hand goes onto our back. And we can hinge into an elephant, or you can stay up, especially if you're taking care of your back today. With this arm extended, it will add a little extra pressure when you lengthen the levers. If you're leaning way back into your heels, try to equal out that weight, so let your core catch you from falling forward. Straighten it back out, turn our toes back out, and come back into goddess pose. Good job. Just one more in goddess, and then we'll be doing a forward fold. You're doing great. Wonderful. Straighten out those legs. The toes will turn a little bit more now again towards the front edge, and we'll hinge down into a wide leg forward fold. And I'll show some options. Options are to have some blocks underneath your hands, to continue to be on your chair, feet wide, or holding onto your chair with your forearms even resting. We'll bring our right hand down in front of our face or onto our chair and reach the left arm either up or place it on our lower back to keep our pelvis. If you could, I'm not going to leave. I'll probably make a big mess. You could rest like your teacup or a plate or something back here on your lower back. So that means when we opened up, we didn't open up our hip. Switch to the other side, with or without your block, or using your chair. You might notice less mobility in one shoulder or more. That's okay, that's normal. Don't worry, we're all special. Bring it back and let the head hang heavy now. Nice wide leg forward fold. You can hold your elbows, take a nice stretch or dangle side to side. tuck our feet together towards each other. Halfway lift, breathe in. Folding, breathing out. Maybe we're turning our toes back towards that short edge of our mat. And coming into mountain pose, either standing or seated on your mat. If you want to grab a quick drink, feel free. We're not doing cat pose, not letting go or not having any water today. Let's move through some warriors. So your right foot will be up towards the top of your mat. And your left foot. So if you're on your chair, you might move on a bit more of an angle now. And we'll take our right foot forward, left foot back, heel down onto the mat. And we open up into our warrior two. On or off your mat as we press into both of our feet. Check in with your knees. Check in as you draw your belly in. Relax our shoulders. You're taking care of your back or your shoulders. You could bring your hands to heart. We're moving into reverse warrior, a little different today. We'll take our left hand. So if your left foot is back, your left hand's going to come onto your heart. And your right arm will reach up. We can close our eyes and take a moment to feel grateful for the beating heart. Pumping blood to our body. Now we'll bring that right elbow to our right knee into our side angle. You could unweight it if you want to. You can keep your hand on your heart to open the chest or reach up with this arm. Another option, of course, is to reach long. And for any more sensation, check in with the back. Before you do so, you bring both hands long. If that doesn't feel good, don't do it. Great job, everybody. We'll rise back up to your warrior two, and then step to forward fold. So you want to lift that back heel, step to forward fold, exhale, halfway lift, breathe in, fold, breathe out, inhale, sweep all the way back up, exhale to chair pose, back up, breathe in, exhale to mountain. Fantastic job. Let's do that 3 pose sequence on the other side. Your left foot will stay up at the top of your mat this time. Your right foot going back with the heel down, and then we open up into our warrior two on the other side, softening through our shoulders. Breathe. You're here for 10 breaths. Check in on you guys. I think I'll take a little selfie with all the Zoomers today. Only some of you show up on my screen. There we go. All right, warrior twos. Let's move into our reverse warrior with our option today to bring your back hand. So this time it would be your right hand to your heart and reach your left arm up into reverse warrior. So if your front leg is bent, that is the hand that's reaching up, and your hand that's towards the back leg is on your heart. Feel your gratitude once again for your own beating heart inside your body. What a gift. We'll bring that left hand to our left elbow and reach up into our side angle. With options, of course, you can tuck your hand back behind you, reach it long, or reach both of your arms long, if that feels okay for your back. We'll check in with your body. Letting go of any tension to let in more joy. Make room. Back to our warrior two. You'll lift your back heel and step to forward fold. Exhale. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale to mountain or seated mountain. We got lots of more time. I'd like to do eagle pose before we head down onto the mat. So if you're doing eagle pose standing, you might want to do it with a block, slightly to the back heel of your left foot to start with. As you walk your right foot around and try to place it on that block back there, or hook your foot around your calf, where you're bending your supporting leg. Or you're on your chair with me today, crossing your right knee over. Maybe there's a block there, maybe not. So let's have our right knee over top and bring our right elbow up. Take our left elbow under, give ourselves a little hug here, or bring the palms together into your eagle. So you're there, you're here, wherever you are. Even if you've got your hands, giving yourself a hug, try to lift the elbow up just a little bit. This one's all about balance. The eagle. Connection to the sky world through the eagle. Let's do the other side. Open up. And do the other side. So walk that. If you're using your block, it comes over to the other side. We'll bring it around. Bend. Or have a seat. Stretching the outside of your hip here. Strengthening your inner thighs. You can be there or standing. So if your left knee's on top, bring that left elbow first, slide the right elbow under, give yourself a wonderful hug, or move into eagle arms where we bring those elbows towards shoulder height. Breathe. Remembering this is your practice. I'm just here to give you some options, some alignment, some safety cues. Do with it what you will. And build your practice around how you're doing in this moment. And release. We'll take those feet apart. Let's take a big breath up. Inhale. Dive into your fold. We'll be making our way down onto the mat now, everybody. Take your time getting there. I might use your chair to help you down. Let's end in a seated position. Won't need that chair again unless you're going to use it for legs up a wall. Take your time. I've been seeing on TikTok and things like that there's some cool challenges getting up and down, so we might add that into our practice next month. We'll do our own TikTok. So here we are in our easy seated pose, or you've got your soles of your feet together with or without some blocks underneath your knees, depending on how you're feeling. So those blocks could be under your knees, or they could just be underneath your hips, kind of underneath your thighs. And then let's work, a lot of the times we're tipping forward. Let's try to stack our vertebrae one on top of the other, and we check in with the pelvis. Personally, I tend to tip my tailbone out a little bit, so I'm going to try to tuck it under a little. Relax the shoulders and lengthen through the spine into your butterfly. Breathe, feel, make sure to listen. Let go today of things that we cannot control. We can control what goes on the inside of us with our reactions. Just gotta go with the flow. You can stay here in your butterfly a little bit longer. If this doesn't feel nice for your knees, straighten out your legs and we'll move into a hinge forward. If you want to come closer to the mat, you'll let your heels go a little bit further away from your groin and that'll bring you a little closer. Whatever works for your body. See how it feels for your hips. We'll walk our hands up now. Take the hands to the outsides of the knees and move into a forward fold. We'll point our toes up towards the sun. Maybe she's out there somewhere. And hinge forward into your forward fold. So we want to stay away from rounding out your back here up at the nose, especially if you're at the top of your movement. Think of that bend coming from lower down, and it's more of a hinge. You can put a chair here underneath your forearms, some blocks. If you've been keeping track with your block placement, seeing how far you're able to place your block, maybe beside your feet or in front of your feet. We're not working for perfection, maybe just a little bit of progress over time. And that amount of time can be different for everyone. So let's walk those hands off the shins. We'll be rolling right back onto our backs for a wonderful roll side to side, little happy baby action, and a back stretch. That beautiful bridge. All right, take it back. Take your little roll side to side to start with. Massage your lower back down onto the mat. If this is something that doesn't feel good, you can have your feet on the mat and move them side to side. Right into our happy baby, so we create some space now between our knees, and they come out. You can hold on right to the backs of your legs or your ankles, the insides of your feet, the outsides. Say peace to your big toes with your fingers holding on. So you draw your knees closer down towards the mat or in towards your armpit area, but they're towards the outsides of your rib cage. Rocking is an option for happy baby if you prefer to be moving. I'll post this on YouTube later on today. If you wanted to go back and do it again sometime, there's plenty of classes on my channel. There's plenty of classes out there on YouTube, and they're all free. All right, bring those knees together. Take another rock side to side. We'll keep our right knee in towards our belly and extend our left leg as we stretch our back here. You can make some movements with your ankles. Just see how the mobility of the ankles is today. It's slippery out there. There's snow. You don't have to go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Stay home. Stay safe and warm. The other foot comes in. Some rotations with our ankle. I think I told the 9:30 ladies, I am trying hard to recruit some instructors, see if we can maybe get some Pilates here would be lovely. Love that, or some other things. If you have any requests, let me know. All right, we'll move into a spinal twist now, drawing one knee across the body. So once you get over, so that maybe that foot comes down onto the mat, you could use that foot or some other anchor, even your hand, to lift you so that you do come onto your hip bone, because we want one side of our hip down and the other side facing up. So there isn't a twist in our lower back. And then we open up across the chest. Blocks are really good friends in this pose too, underneath your knee. And that can also, again, help keep your pelvis stable. We don't want to bend, we don't want to twist our lower back. We want a gentle twist in the more of the upper body. All the way over to the other side. Take your time getting there, guys. About 10 or 15 breaths on each side for these last two poses. So if there's another pose that you'd like to to do today. It's part of your practice, something that you practice safely on your own. You can do that if there's something you're working towards. Just make sure you're safe. And when you're ready, untwist yourself and make your way into your Shavasana, just laying flat on your back or in constructive rest with the knees bent or seated. Shavasana is pretty hard to do on Zoom, so I'll just set you up and then leave you to it to close your eyes with maybe your own music. Let's close our eyes and notice our breathing as we have brought awareness and left the outside world behind for the last hour or so to focus within, to our body in this moment, noticing everything that's going on inside us without judgment, softening with each exhalation in our Shavasana, letting go of thoughts or habits or actions that don't serve you in some good way, that don't spark joy or help you learn. Feeling the earth beneath our body, and for the next few moments, enjoying being held by the earth as you relax your muscles down. Softening the jaw, the eyes, that space between our eyebrows. Softening our shoulders, our bellies, our legs, and our ankles. Staying in this feeling for as long as you'd like to today. This peaceful state is always within you. You just have to find it. Stay there as long as you'd like to. Enjoy your practice today. Maybe I'll be seeing you in person next week, or we'll still be on Zoom. Have a wonderful